the recording when you're doing this. All right.
Yes, sir. Got you.
Should we pop it off over there?
Shit, whatever you want to do, brother.
Started, right?
Why not,
Put
right?
these headphones on.
Yeah, facts.
Well, shit. Yo, this is cool too. We're live now. I'm back in the studio. This is a fun one because this is episode 10 for me, bro.
Oh man, that's
episode 10 is a big deal.
That is a big deal.
You know what I mean? So I got my guy Alex in the building.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming through.
Of course. Come on. This is like family
I'm glad
ties.
to have you. Yeah, no, this is fun, man. Yeah. I'm glad we had like a brief. When I met you briefly, so I've just been following like what you got going on and stuff like that over at the with your podcast and shit. Appreciate it.
So
how's life, man? Like, what you got going on? Where are you coming from right now? Actually,
right now I'm coming from Long Island. I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm from Roosevelt. And, you know, when you say Long Island, a lot of people really, like, scrunch their faces, and that pisses me off.
At least it's not Staten Island, right?
Right? I feel like we're the cool island, but I don't know. I've always repped for Long Island because I know who's from Long Island. Do you need me to tell you?
You can say, just tell us.
I'm going to just tell you. I got you, Jake. Listen, I was raised.
I can't even see right there.
I was raised on the same block Flavor Flav was raised.
Oh yeah?
Oh,
I didn't even know Flavor Flav was all right. I thought you were just gonna go with. I thought you were just gonna go with Wu-Tang.
Nah, dude, you could go. Nah, Wu-Tang. That's Staten Island.
Oh shit, I'm bugging.
Exactly,
I'm bugging.
and that's what we get.
That's why I did. Yeah,
exactly. Like we're never respected as an island. So I'm coming from Roosevelt, New York, right now.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling all right, bro. I've been busy as a creative. Like I know it's weird. It's like if you don't start all of the ideas that you have in your mind, you feel like you're. Like this sense of FOMO enters the room. Like, damn, I know what I want to do and what I should be doing, but my time is not just allocated there so much. So
what's your reminder, constant reminder about shit like that? Like, what makes you think that? I mean, because I know the obvious, like. You know, going on like, you know, on social media and seeing like other people doing things or whether or not it's to what they're saying it is, it's still like, okay, well, I'm just sitting around doing nothing when everybody's out here doing shit, whether or not it's one little thing or a big thing, you know?
Right. I mean, see, it's interesting because I also work for like a really big media entity. Yeah. I'm screenman on the Joe Budden Podcast. So it's like you get a lot of experience from there. And you see how like a lot of creators pay attention to what they do. Yeah. So it's interesting, like on my podcast, on the Need to Know podcast with Savon, myself, and Steph. It's interesting because like we see how things are done on the like behind the scenes because we work like BTS on that show. And like on our show, we get to be like in front of the camera. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I don't know, it just makes you think a lot, like more than usual, because like you're seeing like the back end. And you're also talent. So as a creator, it's I don't know, it's always interesting because like sometimes it might discourage you, sometimes it might motivate you because you're seeing so much.
Yeah, I feel you because I kind of felt like the same way at certain times because I used to do a lot of like production work, like a production assistant working on sets, and like I used to be an events coordinator, kind of director, like helping out over at Milk Studios. So I used to work with a lot of talent there all the time. So I was always behind the scenes, and then like. For me to like, but I did radio too back in the day, so it was like, but like being on this end of it now is like cool because you can kind of what goes into like making this actually happen, which is kind of dope.
Exactly, it's funny you even bring that up. I was a camera PA in Atlanta 3 or 4 years ago on. Oh my God, I gotta Google it. It was a Netflix movie.
Speaking of Atlanta, man, Erickson was just out there.
Shout out to Erickson.
Yo, I honestly would live in Atlanta, man. I've never been, but I know I would live there. You know what I mean?
Shake, what looks to learn about Atlanta for you? Talk to me.
I don't know. The pricing is seeming real nice. I have to cut now, but I have a couple friends that live like on the outsides of Atlanta, and I think I could adjust. I mean, I'm from Florida, so I'm from South Florida, so I'm kind of like from the South-ish,
South-ish. Yeah, no, it's I'll say this: like Atlanta, when I was working out there, and the movie I just remembered, it was called The Trap. It was Mike Epps.
I was about to say, isn't that the one that
with the weed and the chicken?
Yeah,
on Netflix. Yeah, I was the camera.
Wasn't that the one they were making? Who was making fun of that movie?
Everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of people making fun of that movie.
Yeah, like Mike Epps was like throwing weed in the chicken, and it was like making people get high and shit.
Yeah.
So like that was like my senior year in college, and again I'm BTS, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, Alex, this is the play. Like you're just gonna be behind the camera, your entire life, and. That's cool, but like I don't know. Once I graduated and I got away from being a PA, like how you grow, like you just realize, like especially for like us millennials, like we feel like we can do everything.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah. So like my boy Savon, who's my co-host on the Need to Know podcast, approached me. He's like, you know what? Maybe we should go into like podcasting. I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, I was just on set with T.I. I was just on set with like fucking Big Boy and shit.
Yeah.
You're telling me you want to go like just the audio route and like we're going away from the visuals. So that kind of like confused me. But yeah, I say all of that to say a lot comes from PA work.
Did PA work like kind of like fuck little things up for you, like when you watch TV?
Oh man, Jay.
Or like when you watch like does it fuck with you
completely?
Right, I'm not the only one that feels like that, right?
I'm gonna tell you what really fucks me
like
up. Like
the editing, like you work like a commercial. I mean, the one I can really think of that I did like a Swiffer commercial back in the day, and like I was just there for like it was very basic shots, but when I saw this commercial, I was just like, bro, this is insane how they make this look
crazy.
And it was just like that. It was like that one like moment where I was just like, okay, shit, you don't really need. It's not really what you think it is. You
have no idea how many takes they're taking.
Yeah,
you have no idea the amount of makeup that goes into these things.
Yeah,
you have no idea the amount of people in on the script or changing things constantly. So it's like when I was done being a PA and like had to go watch shit, it was very difficult to go watch shit.
Yeah,
I would even see like common errors in the fucking shot. And I'm like, look at me, thinking I'm a director.
Yeah, I went to school for television, radio, like production, but so I had to take some film classes, and it was kind of like similar shit. Like they, you get the eye to like see shit, and then especially when you start working on sets, and especially, have you ever worked a reality show?
Oh, I was going to work. I was just about to, and then like it had flopped out, and it was like some Reality Housewives of Atlanta type shit.
Okay, word.
Like it was something in that realm. So I mean, like I don't know. I guess I missed out.
Yo, the one I worked on one reality show. I'll never do it again, just because the pay is so shitty. First off, for reality shows, I worked on this one called Below Deck. And it's like this reality show about like you know what I'm talking about?
It sounds mad familiar, yeah.
It's like the crew, like say you rented out a yacht, right? You know what I mean? You rented out a yacht and you were like gonna travel, or you were like out for a couple of days on a boat.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you got the crew there.
Right.
The people that work under the boat, the chefs, all that shit.
Right.
And it was basically like the crew, like how their lifestyle pans out, like working on the ship. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it blew my mind, man, because it was like, yo, you know, like the confession rooms in like on like Real World and shit, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody's talking shit.
Yo.
I hate them.
Okay. So I didn't even know this is how it happened. So they shoot the season already. The season's already been shot.
A lot of people don't know that.
Then they bring them in. I don't know if this is on every set, but I saw this on my set. It was like 10 in the morning when we started shooting. They brought them in and like basically just like got them drunk and made them like watch footage, like clips, and then got their reactions. And then they put that back into the show, like as if that's like as if that happened in the moment. Like they went downstairs and were like,
that completely changes the conversation,
right?
It kind of like aggravates you even more if shit is just like fresh to you. Yeah. Because it's like throughout those scenes, like you don't know what they said behind your back, and now you're being fueled with it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
And then and the guy was just like, yeah, we just get them to come in and like get them loosened up and like
loosen up.
That's exactly what he told me. I was just like,
what?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
But you're the first podcaster I've had on here, man.
Oh,
it's interesting. So like. You broke it down a little bit, like how you went from like that set and you kind of got into the podcasting shit. But like, what was like the slow introduction? Because I'm sure you had to be following or like aware of other podcasts beforehand before you even kind of like considered even doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's crazy, Jake? Like, I was probably only paying attention to like one other podcast, no, probably two. Joe's, of course, the Joe Budden Podcast, and the Brilliant Idiots. Once again, like I'm like a senior in college who's been forced to take podcasting classes, freaking like audio engineering classes, which is all cool skills I still have and I'm using it now. Mm-hmm. But it was like, I'm like, I don't really know. Like it was kind of like, throwing me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a podcaster, I don't know, I'm sorry, you asked me if like being a podcaster was like.
No, I was asking you like how because you said you made the transition from doing like PA stuff into somebody who was like, yo, let's do a podcast. And but I'm sure for the idea of that to come, there had to be people doing podcasts that you or your friend was watching that were like, okay, like this is and it's interesting. You say you were watching Joe.
It's gonna sound really cocky. I really wasn't like, and what's fucked up? I felt like I wasn't as researched as I should have been when I started.
Just about podcasts in general?
Yeah, and I feel like it didn't make me like as confident as a talent. That's crazy. I'm saying that out loud for the first time. Like for the first like couple months, mind you, Savon, my co-host, like he's always binge watching podcasts. Like he was always in the know. Like he knew all the lit shit that was going on in the podcasting realm. And again, I'm just coming off a movie set. Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, no, bro. That's what's lit.
It's not moving fast enough.
It's not moving fast enough for me. So it's kind of dope to kind of see us grow like substantially from that point. Because again, at that point back in 2018?
That's when you started? 2018?
Yeah, 2018. Okay, it's crazy. Yeah. Back in 2018, it was just like dude, let's do it. Not that I necessarily had like inspiration, but I feel like Savon did. And I'm glad he did because we started something special.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like how you described Savon. I'm like binge watching shit all day, watching all different types of podcasts. Yeah. What are some of the podcasts that now that you are like kind of in the game, like what kind of podcasts are you listening to like that you fuck with?
I like shit that just like that makes me think. I like the Mike Tyson podcast.
Oh, okay. Hotboxing with Mike. Hotboxing. It's kind of whack now, bro.
It is. But you know what?
That dude, man.
The football player, right?
Yeah. They got rid of him, and then they tried to bring in, what's his name? What's that actor's name?
Fuck.
What's his name? Jeremy Piven. They tried to bring him in, and then that didn't work, and then they had Zab Judah.
No wonder, because I'm like, where the fuck has their episodes been?
Yeah, they like changed the whole set. It's like totally different. It used to be in like black and white. It was like a whole vibe.
It was a whole vibe, yeah. And they just talked about different shit that made you think. And I'm one of those guys.
Like, and every episode, it was about psychedelics at one point. Like Mike Tyson was just talking about licking a toad. Every fucking episode, bro. Every episode, bro.
And it made me research what the toad was.
Yeah. I used to have to like fast forward it. I used to be like, all right, bro. I heard the story a million times, bro. Like,
started to piss you off.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, please.
Along with that one, I fuck with Drink Champs.
Yeah, me too.
I just love shit that's like really, really, really authentically done.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. The guy, Mr. Lee, that they talk about, the guy that kind of like pours, like walks around, like cleans, helps up, and like pours the drinks and shit. Yeah. I used to live on South Beach, and like he used to always be in like this like little bodega called La Playa, like the beach, and
La Playa.
Yeah, I used to be in there every morning getting like food and like coffee and shit, and he used to just like pop in and shit. That was before like Drink Champs even was like. They were kind of maybe even just starting. Like the beginning. So then when I saw him, I was like, oh, wow.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Like you made it.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like this is, I mean, I just started this podcast like, not even, like this year, 2021 or 2020? Right about 2021.
Like 2020?
Yeah. No, it's been fun, man. But you said you never had any like experience like in radio or anything like that before, but like just college.
So yeah, college was like really my introduction. We had to literally take again podcasting classes, radio show classes. Yeah. But what I would do like in college, see, I was an introvert. I don't know about you. Like I was an introvert in college. Like, yeah, don't come on, Erickson, relax. See, Erickson's laughing behind the camera right now.
Why you saying he's not quiet?
Nah. So like in college, let me explain because I know what he's talking about. Like, so in college, right? Like me and my roommate like had the lit room. They would call it the trap.
Yeah.
Like where people would just come through. They dorms. In the dorms. Yeah. Yep. So because I was so introverted in my mind, I felt like if I kept like certain people around me and only certain people around me, I'd be cool. Yeah. But yeah, back in college, like I really wasn't like the most open guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like they probably thought I was a dick if you didn't know me. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't care because like I really had tunnel vision. But I did have to kind of open up when I was starting to think about my career. Yeah. So they did have like a radio show called like Midday Madness during like each lunch period.
I don't even think we even talked about what school you went. What school did you go to?
Yeah. See, look how we don't even give a fuck about school anymore.
Fuck school.
I went to LIU.
Okay, word.
Yeah, not Brooklyn though. The post campus. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one in Brooklyn is not really much, right? It's right there by the bridge.
Yeah, I think they're adding like the Jay-Z's adding a program for like people in like the music industry, which is like super dope. So like you should go to LIU Brooklyn. But yeah, like I don't know. Like at the time, I realized I had to expand. If I want to talk, if I want to like do things for a living, I have to go to facets and where like you can showcase that. Yeah. So one of the places I tried to showcase it was called Midday Madness. Midday Madness was basically this thing during the lunch periods. You and two other people, like maybe in the communication media department, would like put on a show. Yeah. And like you talk about like current.
Was it like an hour show or like?
Yeah, probably like 30 minutes. Work. Yeah, they're not hearing me for an hour while they're eating food. They didn't give a fuck. That's the fucked up part. Like you would see people in like the cafe like not giving a fuck.
Yeah. But what's going on?
Yeah, but like at the same time, you're learning how to do these techniques. Yeah. You're learning how to do segues. You're learning how to have these conversations on air. And most importantly, like you're learning how to feel comfortable while a lot of people listen to you, even if they're really not.
Yeah, I mean, with radio, At least like with radio, you're not necessarily on camera. Right. I even before I started doing radio, I went to Brooklyn College and they have like a really good radio program there.
My co-host Steph actually went to Brooklyn College.
Yeah. It was dope, man. Mm-hmm. We used to have like I used to do like a hip hop show called Who's on Deck.
Dope.
And we used to throw ciphers like on campus, and they ended up getting like really big to the point where we started throwing them like on rooftops and shit around the city.
This guy Jake's a legend,
bro. We were killing it on Brooklyn College campus, dog.
Fire,
it was
bro.
A fucking moment.
Yeah.
But before that, before I did radio, I actually took an acting class, and I was just like, all right, well maybe this will help, you know.
Yeah.
I think it did, man. You know, I think it did a little bit.
I think like you have a great personality. I could see you like translating that into acting. Me as well. That's crazy you bring that up. I've been thinking about like I want to get into acting.
Me too, dude.
Right?
I thought about it. I was like, I could go to some fucking casting calls, bro. I think I could.
I think we could do it.
I could. But speaking of that, like what was the process like for you, like finding your voice and like getting comfortable behind a mic? Were you like one of those people that was like, I hate my voice? Because I know I was, and I'm still like just getting used to it now.
That's what's up. Yeah.
But you know what I mean, like, or like one of those people that doesn't like seeing yourself on camera.
Yeah. Like, I feel like at first, so I'm gonna be cocky here. I've been complimented about my voice all my life.
You even went down like this.
Yeah,
when you
I really had to give it to him. Real bravado, like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I've always been confident in that stature, right? So it's like people always enjoyed to hear me speak, even though I thought I sounded like a fucking complete dumbass sometimes.
Yeah.
People would tell me like, "Yo, you have this great cadence." So that part of it, I've always been confident. Now the on-camera thing.
Yeah, like finding.
On camera, it threw me off just at first because like when you're kicking it with your boys, when you're kicking it with your friends, like you're just kicking it. And a lot of those conversations, your friends understand where you're coming from, or they're like natural understandings, and like the arguments or the debates are just that. See, a lot of the times now when you record this shit visually, throw it on YouTube, like you don't realize how many other people are paying attention to it. Especially when you're starting out. You're like, nobody's fucking listening to me. Yeah, they just might.
Couple
people
probably watch.
So at first, like I had to like improve my discernment with what I said, because I had to start realizing like if a podcast doesn't really get heard, the promo clip will.
Yeah.
I realized that with my own podcast. Like, yeah, they might miss the audio, but the moment it goes up on a Twitter, on a YouTube, then they start to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to adjust to that, but I feel like I'm pretty good on mic now. I say shit I don't mind saying now.
Yeah. I mean, that it takes me back to like college radio, like with all the restrictions that you probably had. Because it's so
FCC,
funny,
right?
Yeah, like all that bullshit. I used to DJ as well. That's like how I started off in radio. Like I interned on a show as like as a DJ, and it was crazy because as before I even had like a DJ setup. So I was literally burning CDs, bro.
Fire.
This was at Brooklyn College, bro. Burning CDs. But like going on like this program called WavePad and like editing out the curse words of like all the fucking songs that I liked that I could never play because there was no clean versions. My whole big thing was like playing shit that wasn't on the radio, and the whole thing was they all had like, you know. Wow. So I'd have to go in and like edit. It would take me like hours, bro.
Us too. If we had to put like new music in for like the radio station, we had to edit
reverse, like you know, like little at the bad parts of the song that it would normally get bleeped out and shit.
Things you appreciate now, though, right? Like on a technical level, like I'm really glad I learned a lot of that shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's what's so cool about podcasts, because there's no boundaries. You just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Fact, yeah.
And it's cool, man. Like it's interesting too with your podcast, because I want to pick your brain a little bit about like how you chose like the lane that you went with. Because I've watched a couple episodes here and there, you know, just trying to get a little background and shit.
Yeah.
And it's dope because it's like, you know, it's kind of like daily. And it keeps people up to date. You know what I mean? Like it keeps people
in the know.
In the know, yeah, exactly.
In the know.
What was the bio? Was like when you need
what
to know.
What you need to know when you need to know on the Need to Know podcast. Come on, man.
Yeah, all right.
Come on, man.
So who came up with the name?
Oh, 100%. Shout out to Savon. Savon, it's funny. Savon went to school with me at LIU Post, and he originally had started the podcast with other like co-hosts. It wasn't me or stuff. Like it was people that like, I guess, quote unquote, didn't see the vision he saw, and didn't take it as seriously as him. So when he approached me about it on trying to like revamp the show and relaunch it, he wanted to keep the name because the name was always the Need to Know. But like along with that, he wanted to make sure we spoke to like young creatives, that we spoke about this shit that people should know.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, because a lot of bullshit out there. But like, how do we really filter to like what people can relate to? And that's kind of what I like really value with podcasting now. I just try to relate to people. I remember being a consumer, and I'm still a consumer, but I remember being a consumer that didn't put out content, that was looking for some real sauce, some real advice, some real help on things. And a lot of the times these outlets have a way of giving you half-assed truth. So it's like, hey, you could do this, but they won't tell you exactly what you need to know or exactly like where to go. And like, I've always like, I don't know, I've even spoke to God. I'm like, oh God, if you ever like put me in a position as to where I can help other people, I'm just going to continue to give the source. I feel like it's too many avenues where people close the door for many talented people, and their talents never get to surface. So like, yeah, that's kind of like what the vision was for the Need to Know. At first, it was very like guest based, and we tried to pick their.
That's what I was about to say. So yeah, it was kind of like bringing kind of like this, like how it was kind of just like that's kind of like what my goal is with this is. Cause I thought about doing like the music shit, and I could talk about that all day, bro. All day. Like I can literally.
But they don't want to hear us.
Well, it's not. It's not just that. It's just like I didn't necessarily want to get like tied into a lane.
Love
you know what I'm saying?
Love that.
And I like profiles. I don't know if you're familiar with like this. It's not a podcast, but he's been on a couple He might actually have one. I don't know if he does, but it's this YouTube series called or channel called Soft White Underbelly.
I've heard it.
It's dope. It's this dude. It's dude out on Skid Row. This white like surfer looking dude, like old dude, and he interviews like people off Skid Row, like prostitutes, pimps, drug addicts. He travels now and like interviews like people from all over the country and shit, right? Fire. So that's my thing is like I like finding out, and that's why I eventually want to take this. I want to take this into like I'm working on trying to get some like an interview with like a prisoner at my sister works at like a max security prison in upstate. You know what I mean? I'm like trying to do shit like that, and I'm like trying to go out in the field a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
I love the aesthetic of your show.
I appreciate it.
And honestly, like, I could even see something like this on Vice. It's just something in that route. Like, it's very like, because I'm one of those guys. Don't label me. Like, I am all things. I'm human. I'm not just one thing. So, like, I feel like with our podcast too, we didn't want to stay in one lane. So, like, a lot of the stuff we do talk about are like pop culture, quote unquote. But we also again go to the shit where people can relate to, like the relationship shit. Or this shit where like with your family or like just shit. See, this is what I feel like we do really well, right? Like we'll take a topic that everybody's talking about, but then like we relate it to our listeners. So then they actually give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like you hear about fucking celebrity stories every fucking day. After a while it gets overwhelming. No one really gives a shit. But if you can find a way to identify with it, it becomes a different conversation.
And how like I keep hearing that song out there. I was like bugged out for a second. Like how did like the chemistry come amongst between like three people behind a set? Like because how long have you known Savon?
Dude,
and I'm sorry, the other girl's name is
Steph. Stephanie. Okay. So me and Savon started the podcast, just the two of us. And at the time, again, we went to school together, but we didn't have classes together. We would see each other in passing. Like in a department, like in a department, like who's like the ill kids, who's actually doing well, who things you want to pick their brain from.
Yep.
Yeah, like we identified with each other in that capacity. Like, all right, I love what Savon's doing. He was like, all right, I love what Alex is doing. We should kind of like. So at the time, I probably knew Savon because he transferred into the school. Probably like in 2018, I probably only knew him 2 years. And then we started off just me and him.
Yeah.
And at the time, we're always talking about how we wanted to add like a young lady in the mix just to kind of give it like that liveliness and not just three guys fucking just talking about whatever.
Yeah. Just bullshitting around.
Just bullshitting around like, oh my God, another Joe Budden podcast. And not that model is wrong, but there's a niche for it. And it's like when you add a beautiful, intelligent woman that has a lot to say, it really adds to the conversation. So,
and how'd you guys come about meeting her?
Yeah, it's funny. So we had our former videographer was hearing our plights about how like
hold on a second. He hates the word. I just want to make sure.
You replace him? Oh yeah,
he doesn't like being.
Wait, I forgot. Yes, see, so Erickson already knows.
Wait, some dude called you a videographer?
No, I know who you guys are talking about.
Yeah, he knows who I'm speaking. He knows who I'm referencing about.
Okay. Word. I was like, he hates the word video. That's how I fuck with him. I'm like,
Erickson, what's your word for instead of videographer? You're a director. You're a DP. I love that.
So every time we're at the house,
a director.
I'll be like, yo, I know the best videographer.
It's like, it's a director.
The director.
That's right. Tell him. Nah, tell him to take your job serious. He's a director.
Hey, I'm just here, man.
Well, yeah, fuck. You just asked me. Oh yeah,
we're talking about
how we met Stephanie, right?
Stephanie,
yeah. So at the time, like he heard our plights about how we wanted to add a lady into the mix, and it's hard, man, with the chemistry, like how you brought up, because it's like you don't want to just force things, but at the same time, you know what you want.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like let's see what works. So at the time, we were actually swapping out a few young ladies to see what worked. I think we had tried like 2 different ladies. They were cool podcasts. Like I think they did like a pretty good job, but we weren't like completely sold on the level of chemistry. And again, we weren't like in a position where we were just gonna fucking force it.
Yeah.
But then again, our former videographer said, yo, this is young lady that I've been working with, quote unquote. She might be a good, mix to you. She might add to it. She really might gel with you guys. And I think Steph came through on episode 4 or 5. It was really early.
Yeah.
And like we did a podcast with her, and it was like we felt like we knew her like all of our lives, and that shit fucked us up. It was like, yo, bro, how fucking random is that? Like, yeah, me and Savon have some sort of a rapport, like knowing each other the 2 years that we've known each other, but this lady that we never met before, we just did a whole podcast with her talking about X amount of topics, and it just fucking flowed.
Yeah, isn't that so weird, man? How that can work sometimes. You just meet somebody and it's just like, dude, it's just like an instant click, you know what I mean? But it doesn't happen all the time. But when it does, it's like, what? That's so
exactly.
It's a good thing to take in
a lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To recognize.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's not
it's not common.
Yeah, it's not common.
And that's why we were like so appreciative at the time. Yeah. We still are, and she's just been a great addition. In terms of like the chemistry, I feel like you can't teach chemistry.
No.
Unless you're a chemistry teacher. And maybe you still can't teach chemistry because that shit is hard. But you really can't teach chemistry. And I've seen it now on some of the realest levels. Like I've seen it on set where they try to bring a bunch of actors or creatives together where they think a show might pop, and it still doesn't work. And now I've seen it in our capacity where like we met this chick we didn't really know, and it just fucking worked. So it's like, in terms of like creating content, like you know if the chemistry is there or not.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
It's a sense of a feeling, yeah.
And like I wanted to touch base on some of like, what are some of like I definitely want to touch base on some of like the topics you were talking about. We were talking about it before you came in here, because I know you guys did an episode on crypto, right?
We did do an episode
because we've been talking about this like heavy.
Yeah.
Been on it.
Facts.
And I've been like trying to get in the game a little bit. You know what I mean?
You ain't been. Come on, like,
I'm in the game. No, I'm in the game.
I know who you're dealing with. Yeah,
I got my toes wet, bro. I got my toes wet just a little bit.
Erickson is like the freaking crypto guru.
He gives me game every once in a while. But no, I saw. I've been like trying to get onto that, and I did peep a couple of your episodes. Like I did watch a little bit of that episode. It was interesting, and it's like I think it's important.
I think it's super important.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not on the crypto vibe yet. I'm not on coins and shit like that.
Right.
I have a little Robinhood, but crypto is kind of like something that
Jake,
I've thought about.
Between me and you,
thinking about.
I think
everybody that sees this.
Right. Yeah. I think you should get involved, and like, to be honest with you, like, I think the reason why the markets, right, like the stock market, the cryptocurrency market, is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up rich. I grew up in an underdeveloped neighborhood. Shit, the biggest biggest business right now where I'm from is a fucking McDonald's.
What's the name of the town? Or
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
I'm from Roosevelt. Yeah. So it's like it's like a 2.5, 3 mile radius. So thank you.
Got you.
So growing up, like they made it seem that the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and geographically, that's on you. You get what I'm saying? And not that my mother didn't work hard, and I'm not saying that I was fucking hungry every night and I was a project baby. Yeah. But at the end of the time, at the same token, I realized that like there was more to be gotten. Mm-hmm. Let me kind of fast forward this. When I was in high school, I thought I was gonna be like this big ass basketball player. Played myself. So
were you solid in high school?
I was cool. I was cool. Yeah, but you gotta understand, I'm only like 6'1". They were recruiting kids that was 6'10", 6'8".
Yeah.
Fucking Danny Green's little brother and shit. Can't make this shit up. They were ill though. Like the whole squad was ill. Anyway, like my mom had like, she didn't want me to go to that neighborhood's like high school because I come from a Nigerian like background. school was very important. You get what I'm saying? She just felt like our high school just wasn't cutting it. And I thought I was going to be ill in basketball. Anyway, when I got there, the real thing that I learned was the community of people and how different currency was for everyone. Let me explain. Like, there was kids, like white Caucasian kids telling me how like they had stock portfolios when we were fucking 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Like insane to me. And at the time, I'm not thinking about that shit. Right? Like,
I never grew. I knew like my grandmother had like bonds. You know what I mean? Like
that was the thing.
Like that shit when you were younger. You know what I mean? You had those bonds. You know?
That was like the thing.
But I never was like really brought up around that shit either, like stocks. And I know my grandparents did like pretty well in the stocks, but they never like taught me or anything. You know what I mean?
You just said the word. They never taught us.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I went to that high school. I went to St. Mary's High School in Manhasset, and just how the wealth was dispersed was eye-opening to me. Like the things some of these kids had in order financially for themselves was eye-opening to me.
Yeah.
So now, as a kid in his mid-20s that's taking the stock market more seriously because of the pandemic, it was like culture shock realizing how much money they've been earning since high school when I first found out. Or all the plays
it put things into perspective that you were like, damn, they've been doing this since we were 15, bro.
Jake, it's still fucking me up.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's still fucking me up.
Yeah, I get
What
that.
if I got in that bit when they were talking about bit? Erickson tells me that shit all the time.
That shit is crazy.
It's crazy. So it's like now as an African American man, like I feel like it's my duty to pass this on to my community. And I feel like it's super dope that like mad black people are interested in it now. Mm-hmm. Like that's super dope to me because now the wealth can be dispersed more evenly if they know the information.
Yeah.
So I think that's really like what's caught my sparked my interest with all of this. Like, just you can make more money and they weren't really telling you how to do it, but they made it seem like super hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the main. That's like that's like the one thing. That was like one of the things that somebody said to me in the process of me like getting towards actually pulling the trigger. Yeah. I forgot where it was, but it was like recently, not too long ago before I started doing it. But they were just like, fuck. I don't want to mess what he set up.
Yeah. Just a paraphrase.
Yeah, it's just a fake. Oh, it was just something about like how people are like what you said. I don't want to fuck up the quote, but like he was basically talking about how like people are intimidated by stocks, and that kind of makes people like hold off on them because of that. But in reality, it's not really it's not as hard as people assume it may be. You know what I mean?
This whole time I'm thinking, in order for me to get into the stock market, I have to go to fucking Wall Street and communicate with one of those brokers. Yeah. And now they're giving you brokers in your phone. Or
like you're crunching numbers all day. Dude, you know what I mean?
That's what I thought it was. But again, when you get the information to just learn how to make additional income for yourself, like it just makes you want to learn more.
Yeah.
It just makes you
why
want to learn
not?
more.
My thing was, the thing that got me so interested in it is I used to do like some delivery like work around the city and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I would go into people's apartments, and sometimes I would go into people's apartments and it would just be these like young dudes just chilling at their desks, like got like 2 computer screens up there, and they're just like chilling. Yeah, I'm just chilling. Just like making money. You know what I'm saying? Just making money, chilling, bro. Like just hanging out. You know what I mean? And I was just like, so wait, what are you guys doing? You just, like blah, blah, blah. And I would pick their brains and shit. And that's what intrigued me is I was like,
wait, look at these guys just kicking it.
You just, how you made $1,000 from your kitchen today? Like, you know what I mean?
And I feel like that aggravates, like our generation of parents.
Yeah.
Only because they never had this much opportunity to make money. Or this many routes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that intrigues me even more too, because it's like, yo, they never had any of these opportunities. We'd be idiots not to like get in on it.
Yeah.
The fuck?
If you could drop everything and just straight up be doing crypto, you think you would? Like
honestly, no. The only thing I
like those people that are just fully invested in
invested?
Like those people that are just straight up crypto.
So you're saying like take all my money out of like the stock market and just be fully in crypto?
Fully crypto.
100%. I thought you were talking like career wise. Yeah, I would. Solely because like crypto right now is in its beginning stages, believe it or not. Like Bitcoin right now, of course, is the biggest one. But there are still coins that are like in the sense that you can get in right now and maybe come up in a few years. Like a lot of the stock market shit has been going on for years. Mm. You can literally track all of these stocks from fucking 1990s and see how they've been doing up, down, new business, up, down. But crypto is so fucking new. Like for instance, I hate to get techie real quick, but I'm so fucking intrigued by this shit right now. Like XRP, right? XRP is one of these coins, right? See, Eric's, you gonna let me cook? Yeah, let me tell you what they're proposing to do, right?
Is it one of those meme coins?
No, it's not Dogecoin. No, it's not Doge. It's not one of those, right? But it's like basically what they're proposing is XRP could like help with like transferring money from country to country because banks are now doing business with these cryptocurrencies. I was reading an article that Santander Bank is doing like a deal with XRP in terms of like, yo, imagine being able to send fucking money from US to Switzerland, like from your phone instantaneously. So I just love all of the shit that it brings, like the new thinking. Like, yeah, that's really what I'm part of it.
Knows what was another eye-opening experience for me for cryptocurrency is I did a production gig with CNBC Africa, and it was at a cryptocurrency.
Jake has done it all.
That shit was. I've been doing that shit, bro. I've been doing like just random shit throughout the years. You know what I mean?
Amazing, yeah.
But yeah, I did this like cryptocurrency shit with CNBC, and it was what was crazy to me was we were just hanging and shit, and the people I was working with were heavy in the crypto game, so they knew who the big players were and like shit like that. Boys. Big players, and I swear to God, bro, there was this kid, probably like my age, 26, 27. Yeah. He was like walking around like. He looked like a gamer, right? Mm-hmm. Like he looked like a gamer. He had like some unicorn like hoodie on and like this weird like some etnies and shit and like some wild ass shit, right? Yeah. And somebody like came up to me, like person I was working with, was like, "Yo, that dude's like like a fucking multi-millionaire," and I'm like, "Bro,
they never looked that way. They never looked."
I was just like, this man is just walking around, just like mad, like bright, just got like unicorn gear on and shit. Doesn't give a fuck. Like just sitting in these meetings, just like in the back, like, yeah, I know this. You know what I mean?
I'm up like
that was
$100
like that was like fucking mind blowing to me too, because it goes back to like the whole like stocks and shit being intimidating. Think you got to be on Wall Street and you think you got to be one of these finance dudes to make that money, and it's not true. You know?
That's how they made it sound. Yeah. Now it's like literally apps on your phone, like Robinhood, Thinkorswim, just things where the broker is an app.
Yeah.
It makes this shit so easy where it's like, yo, if you don't get involved, you just want to miss out on money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we come from apps. We're an app, bro.
Have you made any like fun purchases with crypto?
I'm not one of those guys when it comes to spending money.
No? I feel you. Me neither. I live way under my means. You know what I mean?
I love that.
You know?
I love that.
But
all right, Erickson, relax. I just got a new car because I got into a car accident. All right, I see you.
Wait. What's going on? What is this? What,
so
you got
Erickson has been...
What, the Beamer? I saw the BMW.
Erickson has been teasing me about how I copped the Beamer in the pandemic. But that's kind of like this shit that I like to spend my money on.
I mean, that's
right?
Not a bad thing to
spend. Not a bad thing.
It's not like it's not like you're like getting 6 BMWs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
All right, and then you have to start like checking my pocket.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, like I like big purchases like that, and like everything else is just not that serious to me. I pay my bills.
Yeah.
I pay my car note.
I still wear corner store white tees, bro.
As you should. It's just something to start. Like we're New Yorkers, bro. Like, well,
I'm half and half. I grew up in upstate New York a little bit too. My family's from there, but
you're giving me a lot of Brooklyn vibes right now. As New Yorkers, like we just make shit work. Like,
10 years, so I think I'm almost 10 years.
Jake,
so
you're a New Yorker.
About to,
yeah, you're a New Yorker. Just say least. Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I cut you off. My bad.
Fuck, no, you're good. We were talking about Rose's doing his job. The car.
We're talking about the car, yeah. Copping the BMW.
Yeah, like those are like that's where I like to spend my money, shit like that. But in terms of like, I'm not really too what's the word? Frugal with my money. I was the kid that was fucking selling fruit snacks.
Word.
And saving my money from fruit snacks to go get some more fucking fruit snacks and then
to get more money.
Yeah, to get more money. Like I've always been like wired that way, like as a hustler. So like, I don't know. In terms of like, I think I don't swear on myself enough.
Yeah. I feel you. We were laughing earlier because I was like, I remember we follow each other on Instagram, so I'll follow your stories and shit, and I'll see you riding around like watching music videos and shit in your car.
Jake, my simple pleasures. Erickson's been teasing me about that too, and it's super. You know how many people like literally stop?
Yeah,
like they stop me in the middle of the street, like, are you supposed to be doing that? I'm like, listen, bro, relax. It's for the passengers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or for the red light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Word. No, that's sick, bro.
But yeah, that's
we used to ride around in a Durango. My homie had like a Durango in high school, and he had TVs in the headrest, and then one like in the front. And so I used to play baseball and shit. We used to go on baseball trips. Yeah. And I would always ride with him and shit because we would bring like the PlayStation. We put like the PlayStation in the car and shit. And dude, it was dope.
Now you were really living.
Riding around in the Durango, bro.
Yeah. Now I'm riding around fucking listening to like Jay-Z or A Boogie, and they're like, you're going crazy.
No, that's dope though, man.
Super dope.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about before we got into like how you kind of doing like the Joe Budden thing. Yeah. Fuck it, I'll remember. Sure. Talk to me about how you got tied into like the whole Joe Budden stuff, and we'll go back when I
no worries.
Like you said, the rosé is definitely doing
the rosé is doing
the job.
Champagne is my thing, by the way. Like
that's what we were. I was like, should I get champagne? Because I usually get the bottle of guest. I'm bugging, bro.
The champagne is doing its job.
It is definitely doing its job. I usually get the guest the bottle of their choice. And on the way here, I was just like, man, I didn't even ask you if you want champagne. But then Erickson was like, yo, look at his emojis in his bio. He's got champagne glasses, bro.
Like, he's so good.
And then I was like, does he like champagne? And he goes, yo, look at the emojis. He's got champagne. And then you text me back, you know I do, champagne emojis. So literally as we're in the car over here.
I'm in the process, before we get into the Joe show, I'm in the process of rolling something out. And I don't know, it's just really dope how you can market things as a creator. Like, I've just been fucking throwing out champagne glasses after every freaking thing I say. And I'm literally seeing waves of people like doing the same and advocating for it. They don't even know what the fuck I'm giving them yet. Yeah. So like, champagne is definitely my thing. Stay tuned, keep up with me, and you'll see what I've got planned.
On our first episode, we had my homie Radimus, and he might have a little Bel Air plug for us. We're trying to. I would love. That's my next thing I want for the podcast is trying to get some sponsors and shit.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But hey, it takes time.
Definitely takes time. You're getting there though. It's only episode 10, Jake.
Episode 10, man.
Only episode 10, Jake.
Yeah.
But how I got involved with the Joe shit. Again, big shout out to Savon. Savon has been been working for Joe probably since like 2017. Definitely before we started. No, that's not true. Yes, that is true. Savon was working at a homeless shelter, going to school, and fucking working with Joe at the same time. Was forced to quit the homeless shelter to start working with Joe full time. So again, Savon has been worked really close with Joe for a little bit. Yeah. And it's funny. I was just talking about this on Joe Budden's Patreon. So if you didn't pay for it, you get it here. Savon was telling me how like, when they recorded their podcast, when I wasn't a part of it, that these dudes literally just like be watching ESPN or watching like fucking highlights and shit, or watch Erickson's out in his head, like watching games while they're freaking talking about like Jay-Z or like something about music. And I don't know, we came together and we kind of felt like if we could kind of add to their conversation, kind of add some flavor, some texture to their conversation, with them seeing visually what they're talking about, it might be able to really improve the conversation. So that's kind of how I got brought in. And, I was actually working fresh out of college, believe it or not, after the PA shit. Like, my mom got on my ass. And she got me feeling like I should make more money than I was making. And I'm never gonna do that ever again, because you start to go into overthinking mode. Yeah. And what did that breed? That bred me fucking working for like the phone companies. So I got into working
just because you wanted to make more money.
Yeah. Like, again, I come from a Nigerian household, Jake. Like it's a very different like structure and construct. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, you're this age, you should have this. We're like this, so you have to be like this. Again, a lot of my cousins are studying to be doctors, lawyers, engineers. It's kind of crazy that I'm taking this whole media route. Mm-hmm. Right. So at the time, I'm just trying to get my mom to kind of understand the vision, because the podcast is still going on. But again, it's early in the Need to Know podcast. Like, we're not getting the same views we're seeing right now. The attention is not the same. So it's really kind of hard to convince people that are not of this generation what I'm trying to fucking do with it.
Were you still like living at home at the time too?
Definitely still living at home at the time.
That plays a big part in it too.
Oh my God, bro. And it's like, all right, like, you're not paying any bills here. What the fuck are you gonna do? Right?
Oh, you're gonna talk on YouTube all day?
That's what the fuck you're gonna go. You're gonna go YouTube live.
You're gonna go on YouTube and talk in the room all day.
And then you're gonna call it work. And it's like, nah, like, this is literally my work. So at the time, with that forced me to go get jobs with the phone companies. And I say phone companies because I worked with more than one. I worked with AT&T first. And then secondly, I worked with T-Mobile. I'll say this. With T-Mobile, I had a ball. Like I had a great time.
I mean, T-Mobile stores do seem kind of fun, you know?
Mad chill. Shout out to T-Mobile, man.
They used to be at the Newkirk Plaza. Remember they would have like the speaker out front all the time? They'd have a guy out there like doing little promos and shit.
Mad chill. They want you to do whatever you want. AT&T was definitely more like corporate suit and tie. Like, and not that we wore like suit and ties, but that's like how they acted in there. But anyway, I say all that to say I was still working at T-Mobile at the time when Savon had presented the opportunity to me. And I was missing days with the podcast because I still had work. Look at me still trying to, because again, where I'm from, how I was raised, you always have to keep X amount in your account or you should live by this number, right? So in my head, I'm like, nah, like I could do both. I got to juggle both. I don't know how I can do both. But then I missed the show with Joe. And damn, boy. When I missed the show with Joe, boy, did I hear it.
From Joe?
Yeah, from Joe.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so the next episode, I show up and he's like, hey, man, like, what's up? What happened to you last week? And I was telling him, like, yeah, man, like, I had to work. Because at the time, I wasn't getting paid yet. But, like, this is like a big tip to all creators. Like, don't worry about the money. Like, worry about the opportunity and what that could present. So he's telling me, he's like, so what you want to do? What we do here is full time. Like we do this each and every week. We need all hands on deck. We need all parts on deck. So if you can't do this, you could go. Yeah. Literally the ultimatum he gave me. And not only did it stop there, he went on his podcast to speak about it. So he didn't like at me, but he added me. Yeah. Like he literally just had that conversation. They turned on the mics and he literally went into how like creators need to not worry about the money. And he said something that stuck with me to this day. He said you need to, quote unquote, weather the storm. And those 3 words honestly has changed my life since then. I've broken out of the need of a certain amount to be in my account in terms of money and just going with what feels right, what makes me happy as a creator, what makes me happy with what I want to do in my future. So I literally quit my job the next day. They still haven't heard from me. I'm sorry, y'all.
I feel you. Back when I was like when I was DJing and shit, and I was like trying to do that a little bit more frequently. Yeah. I quit a job.
It's okay.
It was funny. Yeah. I was at work one day and I was at the job. I didn't not to go in. I like left work.
Oh shit.
I got a call and it was just like, yo, you want to DJ tonight at this spot? I got like $250 for you. And I was like, $250. Yeah. I was like broke, bro. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm there, bro. Because at the same time, because it was like you want to be available, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you want to be able to do it. And I literally had my homie like Photoshop of his like one of his doctor's notes, and I told him I had pink eye and shit. And I went and DJ'd the party that night. Got fired from the job though. But that's what I'm saying though. It was just like I was ready and willing to drop my job just because of the opportunity that I could have had there, because I knew that there was going to be a good amount of people there that was when I was living in Miami, like I said, so it could have got me more into the DJ scene and being more frequently on sets down there. So that's why I was thinking about it. So I literally quit my job for that shit. Amazing. For one night, and nothing came of it, but it was like,
it felt good.
I had enough. And
it's like, I don't know about you, but again, like with my family, I had to make a subconscious decision to stop living for my family. And start living for myself and what I thought was important, because nobody is going to see your vision.
Yep.
You're the only person that kind of knows, and I say kind of because God will have a great way of humbling you. Like, you're the only person that kind of knows where you want to take something. So it's like, if it means that you're going to hurt some family members in the while you're doing it, I mean,
it's fucked up. It is fucked up. I've definitely had these conversations as well. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're almost 30. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, trust me, you're not paying my bills. Exactly. I live on my own.
Exactly.
I don't need you for anything in my life. You're not paying for anything that, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. I'm totally on my own. Yeah. You might not agree with what I'm doing, but it's what I want to do. It's what I got to do. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. So,
because I'd be devastated if I never fulfilled what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
Even if I just tried it.
Exactly. Like, or, you know, getting older and being like, you never even tried. That's the worst shit.
The worst.
Because you're always going to have it. I feel like there's no way to live your life without any regret, but I would try to limit it. You know what I mean?
As much as you could.
As much as I possibly can, right?
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, I just think that's just like super important.
Yeah. That's kind of how that came about, at least with the Joe thing. Like just the need for how like they needed something. And people don't understand. Like
explain a little bit more like what you actually do on the podcast.
Yeah. So I'm screen man on the show, which means like actually on the network, because I also work for his other podcast on the network on Mondays. So I'm screen man, which means if they're talking about a topic, 9 times out of 10, I've already pulled it up and they're looking at it. Yeah. So let's say they're like talking Jamie
about for Joe Rogan type of thing. Kind of vibe.
That's his name, right? Yeah, I'm Jamie. Yeah, I'm Jamie.
That's what's up. That's sick because you're essential. You're like
super.
You got to be like paying attention the whole time too. You got to be on point
the entire time, and it's like you kind of can like you can steer conversations or you can fuck it up at the same token.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, if you're not quick enough, now it's like a dead space.
Yeah, it seems like an easy task where you could press the wrong button and music plays when everybody's talking or some shit. You know what I mean? Like anything can happen. The volume doesn't play. You know what I mean? It's just like now you're responsible for all this shit.
And it's like you want to kind of like find what they're talking about within the time frame as they're talking about it. You get what I'm saying?
You better be able to type with one hand, bro.
Boy, let me tell you, better be able to type with your feet. Yeah. whatever it takes. But I love it. I love it. Like I'm one of those people. Like whatever I do in my life, I take it very seriously. So I'm the type like, if I think they're gonna talk about something, let me throw it up for them.
Yeah.
If I don't think the guys saw it, let me throw it up for them before they record.
And where the screen's just like what, right in front of them,
directly right in front of them, like how this camera is.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the times, the conversations they probably wouldn't have written in their phones or seen because there's so much shit that we see on the internet. They'll talk about, but not from like their notes, but from mine. So it's like I love adding to the conversation. I love being of value. So that's kind of like my role, and I do the same for his other podcast.
What's the other podcast?
Oh my god, like, I'm so terrible. See the thing is, because he has 2, Girl I Guess, and See the Thing Is. So I'm on See the Thing Is on every Monday, and I do the same task for those ladies. Shout out to Bridget.
Is that
Kelly,
the one that was in the penthouse type thing?
They're in the studio.
Oh,
they're in the studio, yeah.
Okay, word.
Yeah, so I do the same task for the ladies over there, and I just love it. I just love doing a good job. I've always been one of those guys. Like whatever I'm doing, I'm give a fuck from tying my laces. Just make sure you do a good job. I hate when people talk down on my name and on my work. You one of those people, Jake? Like, are you one of those people that can just like do a bad job and be okay with it?
No, not really.
I can't do it.
I mean,
I can't do it.
I want to say there's definitely been things where I've been like, it is what it is.
Sure, yeah, that's
what
life.
I mean. Yeah, but not intentionally, not intentionally right. Being like, it sucked, whatever, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've left here in episodes being like, fuck, I didn't say this, or like, fuck, I shouldn't have said. You know what I mean? Like, shit, little shit like that.
Yeah,
but I mean, that means you really you care, right?
Right. I guess that's important. You want to like get people in your team that fucking give a shit.
Yeah. Where do you plan on going with the Need to Know podcast? Like, and explain a little bit too about this Patreon situation too, because you brought over the Need to Know podcast to this Patreon network.
Not yet.
No?
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. So Joe has a deal with Patreon now that he's just announced.
Explain Patreon to me too, because I'm a little new to it.
I got you. You ready?
I just know it as like what people just can kind of donate money or subscribe.
It's the OnlyFans for media platforms.
That word.
I think that's like the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Like you can subscribe. Other creators can put a certain amount for what they want to charge you monthly for you to see exclusive content that you're not going to see on the DSPs on YouTube.
Okay.
So, that's kind of like the bulk of what Patreon is. Literally, you can do anything the fuck you want over there. But the cool thing about Patreon and like subscription services with that is you can track who really fucks with you. If you're 100,000 subscribers or with 5,000 subscribers, you can kind of gauge the amount of people that would actually pay to see you each month, along with content that you're giving out for free. So that's the whole Patreon deal. You had asked me about
because I heard you guys are partnering with the Joe Budden Network in some sense, right? So I assumed that it was like the Patreon deal.
Oh yeah,
kind of like you're getting affiliated with Patreon as well.
So like we're under the network, but not signed under the network as a Need to Know podcast. But we are definitely like a I guess you could call it a sister pod or a brother pod, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it is separate from what we do with Joe. And you never know, that might change. But as of now, like we're kind of like a sister brother to the Joe Budden Network.
Yeah. What do you want to do with the podcast too? Like where do you see it? Like where do you see it going?
It's funny you bring this up. I was having a conversation with one of my boys, right? And he was asking me the same question. He was like, yo, so what's the vision? And I'll tell it to you like this, Jake. I will never do another podcast.
Yeah.
Like straight up and down. Like I will never.
You mean start one from the beginning again?
Ever,
from scratch.
ever again, Jake.
Yeah. It's a process. I already know.
People don't understand. It's a process. It's a chemistry thing for me.
Yeah.
Because as a consumer, like you can hear when the chemistry isn't there with certain shows and when shows try to force certain things. Anyway, I say all of that to say like I would love for the Need to Know to be the vehicle for me, Savon, and Steph to kind of do whatever else that we want to do.
Yeah.
Literally like kind of use it as a vehicle.
I feel I feel the same way too because I'm recently applying for like a little position type thing with with a podcast and shit. And I looked at it the same way with my clips on YouTube. I mean on Instagram. It's like a digital resume.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what and it's cool that you got to like you think about it that way.
Because we're all different in our own sort of way, right?
Yeah.
Like Savon is like big podcasting. He's gonna be like a podcasting mogul. I see it. Like he's all about podcasting. He loves it. Steph is so talented. Steph is an actress.
Word.
Steph could do like a bunch. She's also worked as a director and producer on a few projects. And me now, honestly, like I picked up making beats. And I've always had like you keep up with me on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw you make some beats.
Yeah, I music is like my thing.
Yeah.
So it's funny that I'm even in podcasting now, like, but music is really like where like my attention lies, like where my love lies. And I love podcasting. Don't get it fucked up. I love getting my shit off.
Yeah.
But like I would kind of like for me at least, like I want to take producing more seriously. And sure, I'll probably get there one day, but you kind of got to like separate everything and kind of give time to things. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving a lot of the time to the podcast, in which I love and which I'm okay with. But that, like up next on deck, I really want to take producing way more serious. Like I have a really good ear. People have always complimented me for it, and it's just time to take it more seriously.
Yeah, that I think that's kind of like when I met you at the party or whatever. I think we talked about like we could talk music or some shit or something like that.
And that was like a year ago.
Yeah, because I'm kind of the same way. Like I used to run my own music blog too with like two of my homies called The Grapevine.
Fire.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and also with like doing this as well, like not picking the music lane, but I can literally talk about that shit
for hours,
all day.
For hours.
You know what I'm saying? Like new artists. I ask him, bro. I sit at my YouTube, my computer all day, just
watching mad vids,
watching shit.
I'm the type. I'm like, I love music so much, Jake. Like, I'll take an artist for the weekend and just binge their shit.
Yeah.
I'll take an artist for the day and just binge their shit and just get familiar with their stuff. Like people that I like, I'm that fan. Like I don't give a fuck if it's like fucking jazz. I don't give a fuck if it's trap music. I don't care if it's drill music. I don't care if it's pop. I don't care if it's Afro beats. I don't give. It's just so long I like it. I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And even on Twitter, like it's kind of like funny you bring up the blog thing. I've always tried to find kind of ways to get within music journalism, but not like the standard route.
Yeah.
I hate the standard everything. I'm one of those. Like, I'm like, go against the grain. Like, that's my whole bag. Like, fuck that. Go against the grain. Just because something hasn't been started yet doesn't mean it can't. Like, I come from that school, right? So I was writing for Kazi magazine for a little bit. Shout out to Kazi. I wrote like some pieces on some artists. I loved that. But it wasn't, I didn't think I was a writer.
Yeah.
Like, I could write. Yeah, I can write, sure. Like, I went to school. I can pen how a song makes me feel, what I don't like about it, what I do like about it, and what intrigued me. Yeah, all of that is cool. But, like, I would freaking follow these Twitter pages or these music blog like publications, and like when it would be time to announce like the new music, like these guys would post like only the biggest artists. So it'd be like, let's say they tweet, okay, Meg Thee Stallion, Drake, Travis Scott, and it would just be those collection of artists being announced as if those are the only people releasing music.
Yeah.
That pissed me the fuck off. So what I kind of started doing was I started doing my own music blast on Friday mornings. So now if you follow me on Twitter, Ball Till We Fall, BALLTILL, We Fall. Every Friday morning I post like the new releases. And it's not just like the artists that you quote unquote might know. It's also like a bunch of like underground shit. Because it's like there's a whole lot of music out here that people are not tapping into. But again, like in my sick head, I'm like, I don't want to fucking like hit up these blogs and be like, hey, you should do this. I'm no, I'm just gonna start doing it. Yeah. So like,
it's funny too, because I was just having this conversation the other day with somebody about like just like the conversation that like music is like, especially like rap, I guess. Yeah. Like rap is trash nowadays, and like, you know what I mean? And my biggest argument to that is just like you're not looking for it. You're just taking what's given to you and being like, this is the norm, you know?
Because there's always gonna be a popular sound of a time.
Yeah.
But it's like you gotta do the research to see what else is.
Yeah, man. I'm like really happy with like the music scene too right now, especially because South Florida, like where I'm from, is like starting to pop off. We have Kodak. We got like a bunch of people coming.
Jack Boy. It's a lot. Yeah, Jack Boy. It's a lot of.
There's another dude. I don't know. I think he might be just like one of those like too real for the industry type dudes, bro. There's this guy out of I want to say Palm Beach. This dude named PC Tweezy. Matter of fact,
wanna play some shit.
Yeah, we're gonna play some shit, bro.
Yo, listen.
I forgot I got this damn.
I don't got no problem
this
listening to music.
Goddamn thing.
Yeah, the aux. Yeah, I don't got no problem listening to music,
bro. Let me show you this dude, PC Tweezy. He was like on Instagram Live the other night, and I wrote him. I was like, "Yo, what's up, man? Any reason you can come on the podcast, or like, can you come on the podcast?" He was just like, "Man, the money's right. I'll be there."
Oh man, so I feel him though. I feel him.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah. Shout out to Tweezy.
Let me show you.
Is it right here?
Yeah, this dude. So he's from Palm Beach.
Too hard to kill, too hard to kill. Too hard to kill, too hard to kill. Welcome to my section. Too much shit to put on.
It's like real Soldier Life mentality shit, like Soldier Slim, Hot Boy shit.
Never love any hoe. When that pressure get applied, these bitches be switching roles. You must keep a banger, loaded one in the chamber. Tell them my life in danger, I'm turning you to an angel. Gangster in the city, be for rent.
Hard, bro.
Couldn't play basketball cause I ain't never wanna back down. My 30 got a kick, but I'm loving the way that max sound. 20 seconds.
He's the hard, right? I think he was like getting looked at by Atlantic, I think, or 300 or some shit, and he got shot 11 times or some shit, 10 times recently. Hard, bro.
Whole face like scrunching up right now.
I pitch him to like any label person I know. I'm like, yo, you gotta look this dude up. Right. Him, and then there's this other dude you should check out from same area as Kodak, Pompano. This dude, 26 Coupe.
26 Coupe. That sounds familiar. I'm gonna check it out.
He's dope. He's locked up right now, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, those young boys.
Would you?
No, he's a young boy. He's still out there acting wild, bro.
Fuck. These new young boys, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Especially in Florida, bro.
Yeah, it's different.
Florida's a weird place
because like it's the weapons things. Like with New York now, right? Like everyone was at least scared to carry a weapon because it's automatic 3 to 5. Out there, when you can carry, it's like
everybody has a gun in Florida.
You brought up a label. Would you work for a label?
I have actually. I worked for Mass Appeal Records back in the day.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, I was
just another like name drop, right? Something like what up Nas? What up Jungle? Yeah. Something like right?
Yeah, I worked for I started off as an intern, and then they hired me as like I was like running their socials.
That's fire.
And then I was like there for like a year, and then I was like going through some weird shit, like kind of like broke as hell, like getting sick of the city. You know what I mean?
One of those things.
One of those like the 5-year mark type shit.
Yeah.
And I went back home. That's when I was saying I lived on like South Beach and shit. I went and lived on like Miami Beach for a year.
Wow.
And it was cool, man. But like honestly, after like 3 months, I missed New York.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, Miami's cool,
the
man.
cold, huh?
Nah, well, it's just like it's too slow.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's a fact. It is
that, or I mean, that, and it just I just that, and I think on top of it, I just really wasn't that comfortable, like financially down there. So it was just like it was just one of those weird moments you can't really necessarily like enjoy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So maybe it tainted the city, but I was just down there like 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, man, I don't think I could live here again.
You know? It's crazy. Yeah. That's definitely a place where I would like vacate to, but not like live. I was talking.
I mean, you don't have state taxes there, so or federal taxes.
That's where you could get a brother like.
Or state taxes or federal taxes. One of those. You don't have one of them.
That's fine.
State, yeah.
State. That's still
you don't
fired.
have state taxes.
That's still fired. Yeah, I might as well go get a spot.
Keep your money, bro.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. What Well, first off, that's dope that you work for a label because I feel like I want to do like artist development. And like I want to do like real artist development because like I've always been like someone where like artists will hit me up like, hey, come through to my session.
Yeah.
I'll come to the session. I'll tell them what I don't like. I'll tell them what I do like. And like scary to me, they would actually listen. So
isn't it weird too that you're like, these kids are fucking, these dudes are listening, like,
it's
you
crazy.
Feel like that? You're like, what?
It's crazy because it continued to happen, and then like more people would like reach out, like, "Yo, like, tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this." And I really can identify when I listen to music what it is I like, what it is I don't like, what needs to be improved, and just the overall aura of a song. So like, I know you worked with the social media route. I would love to do real artist development, like in the studio.
So that's what I was trying to do, A&R shit. Like that's what I was really, I was really focused on it, and I still kind of am focused on it. You know what I mean? Like I still pitch people. I've pitched people to labels, and literally got nothing from it, bro. Yeah. And they work together now. You know what I mean? So it's just like I just like doing shit like that, bro. You know what I mean? Dope, bro. It's fun to do that.
Super dope.
It's fun, and it's just like it goes back to like what we were talking about earlier about like riding the wave and putting the time in and like being patient and shit. Yeah. And it's just I don't know, it just ties back in, That's
a fact.
It's weird.
In terms of the Miami thing and you like living there, the only place I feel like I would live because I love New York so much the way you do. Yeah. I think I would do 6 and 6 here in LA.
Oh, okay.
If I could.
Not right now.
Not right now.
LA is the worst place right now.
They'll rob you, coronas through the roof. There's a lot going on right now. But if the world was like normal, which it never is, I think I would love to do if I could. I can't. Like the way life is set up right now, it's impossible. Yeah. But if I could, I would do 6 and 6 here in LA.
I've only done a couple hours in California, so I don't have much of a vibe for it.
Now we've got to go.
No, I'm definitely gonna go for sure soon. I have a friend out there that I've been meaning to like go check up on and shit and chill. Yeah. And she's like close to LA. She used to be like downtown LA, but I don't know where she's at.
Where she's at now, dope.
But like she works for a label out there.
Got you. Yeah, definitely might want to check in on her.
Yeah. But have you done any like independent A&R scouting for people?
Yeah, actually, I've done some. I can't even speak on it, but I have done for some labels. Yes, I definitely have, and I can't really speak on it because I don't want to blow anybody's spot up.
I feel you. Yeah.
But I definitely do get hit up on the side, like, hey,
Have you ever thought about managing or like working with?
I would love to, but you know how I like to do things correctly? My life is so crazy right now. The way I would do that artist a disservice. Yeah. And that's just not in my being. When I'm a part of something, I'm a part of it. Like I feel like I'm the person that's doing it. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait until like life frees up a little bit and I'm able to do that correctly.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hopefully shit kind of goes back to normal a little bit too.
Might take a while.
Yeah.
But eventually. Yeah. When you just have a love for music, you'll literally do anything. Just the fact that I make beats now and I learned how to do it during the pandemic, it literally fills my heart. Yeah. I don't have to do anything in a day. If I make beats, I'm cool.
How you got to make like 5 beats a day for 3 summers?
This guy, you get it. That's the vision.
Nah, I was like maybe a year ago when we lived before we lived in or 2 years ago probably. Mm-hmm. I was like making beats every day. Remember that shit? I was like just fucking. Let me make 3 or 4 beats a day.
It takes you.
It does, but then I was just like, it got to a point where I was just like, I have to do this or else I don't. Yeah. I didn't like feel good about like the day. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I just recently lost all my sound kits and shit. We had to make space on my computer, the goddamn iCloud and hard drive space, the shit, Damn. This is my tech guy right here. Every time I got a problem.
He's amazing with the tech, bro. I don't know how he knows everything. My tech guy. He's mine too. And I only see him once a week. No, twice.
Yeah, I called him in Miami when I was shooting episodes. I was like, hold up, what's up with this camera real quick? Yeah.
It's funny you say that because like I got to drive to make these beats on and like it fucking got corrupted.
Hey, man.
I'll make more.
It is what it is,
I'll make more. It is what it is.
Yo, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. This shit was fun. This was a fun episode.
Wow, I'm glad.
Episode 10.
Episode 10. You got to do the right way. My God.
Appreciate it, man.
Jake.
Thank you for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.